Let's be real. Getting the truth out of someone, especially someone you're dating or used to date, can feel like trying to win a staring contest with a cat. You ask, she dodges. You press, she flips it on you. And next thing you know, you're apologizing for something you didn't even do. But here's the thing. FBI agents are trained to spot lies, detect shifts in behavior, and get to the truth without even raising their voice. You don't need a badge for that. You just need awareness. So today, I'm going to show you how to think like an FBI interrogator, but without the suit and the fluorescent room. Let's go. Point 1. People tell the truth when they think you already know it. Alright, so here's something nobody tells you. People don't lie because they're evil. They lie because they think they can get away with it. That's it. That's the reason. But the moment someone thinks you already know the truth, suddenly, lying feels way more dangerous than just being honest. So if you're talking to someone, maybe your girl, your ex, whatever, and you feel like something's off, don't start with questions. Start with observation. FBI agents call this setting the frame. You walk in like you're already 5 steps ahead. You don't say, "Were you out with that guy?" You say, "It's interesting how every time he texts you, your whole vibe changes." That hits different. She hears that, and her brain starts racing. Wait, how much does he know? What did he see? What did I post? And guess what? When she thinks you already have the answer, she's way more likely to just come clean, or at least fumble the lie. So let's be honest. If you're always reacting, begging, accusing, she's going to stay in control. But if you walk in calm, observant, and a little mysterious, that's when she gets nervous. And nervous people slip. Point 2. Watch behavior, not words. Let me hit you with some truth. Words lie. Bodies don't. So many guys focus on what she says, but they miss how she acts when she says it. You ask, "Did something happen last night?" She says, "No, why would you think that?" Sounds normal, right? But her voice cracked. She looked down. She crossed her arms. She blinked 5 times in a row. Boom, that's data. FBI agents are trained to look for baseline shifts. Everyone has a normal way of acting when they're relaxed. The trick is to spot when they suddenly change. Let me break it down like this. Situation, normal behavior, suddenly. Talking about work, relaxed, joking, tense, serious. Mentioning a friend, casual, defensive, arms crossed. Asking about plans, direct, why are you asking? See that? That shift. That's where the truth is hiding. So don't be that dude who says, "But she said she was fine." Bro, she said she was fine while chewing her lip, holding her phone like it was a grenade, and avoiding eye contact like you were a tax auditor. She wasn't fine. The body tells the story. You just gotta be smart enough to listen. Point 3. Ask once. Then go silent. Okay, listen close. This is one of the most powerful things I learned from studying interrogation tactics. Silence is your best friend. You ask a question, then nothing. No follow-up. No explanation. No pressure. Just calm, still silence. It makes people squirm. Why? Because it feels unnatural. It forces them to fill the gap, and that's when stuff leaks out. Let's run the example. You ask, "Did you see him last night?" And instead of jumping in or trying to catch her in a lie, you just wait. She starts thinking, why is he so calm? Does he already know? What do I say next? And in that space, she might overtalk, overthink, say something she didn't mean to say, contradict herself. Most guys don't do this. They ask the question, then rephrase it, then ask again a minute later, then try to explain why they're asking. And now you just look desperate. So let's be honest. If you ask the same question 5 times in 5 different ways, all you're doing is giving her 5 chances to craft the perfect lie. Be chill. Be quiet. Let her deal with the silence. That's where the truth lives. Point 4. The more she explains, the more you listen. Alright, this one's huge. You ever ask someone a simple question, and they respond with a 3-minute monologue? You're like, "Did you go out last night?" And she's like, "Well, I was going to, but then my cousin called me, and she was feeling kind of sick, and then my phone died, and I was going to text you, but I couldn't find my charger, and plus the place was kind of packed." Bro, come on. FBI agents call this verbal leakage. It's when someone starts throwing out extra details that don't match the question. Not because they're trying to be helpful, but because they're trying to build a cushion. They're hoping that if they give you enough story, you won't notice what's missing. Here's the thing. Innocent people are direct. Guilty people give you timelines, weather reports, and what their dog was doing at 7:48 p.m. So your job isn't to stop them. It's to listen with a filter. Ask yourself, is she answering the actual question? Or is she avoiding it by telling a story? What's not being said? Why does she keep circling back to the same point? Don't interrupt. Don't argue. Just let her build the castle, then look for the cracks. Because the longer someone talks, the more likely they'll contradict themselves. That's just human nature. Point 5. Control the frame. Never beg for the truth. Okay, this is where a lot of dudes mess up. You feel something's off, and you go in with the "just be honest with me" speech. And I get it. You're trying to be real, be open. But what you're actually doing is giving away all your power. You're basically saying, my peace depends on what you say next. Please give me closure. I need your truth to feel okay. Don't do that. FBI agents don't ask for the truth. They observe, collect data, and calmly say, I don't need you to admit anything. I just need to understand what's going on so I know how to move next. That's pressure without aggression. Now the power shifts. She realizes you're not waiting around for her permission to feel okay. You're just assessing the situation. That freaks people out. Because now they're no longer guiding the conversation. You are. She can feel it. And when people lose that control, they either fold, or they start telling the truth just to grab some of that control back. Bonus tip, emotional detachment is a superpower. Let's wrap this up with a truth bomb. Most people don't lie because they're evil. They lie because they still feel like they have power over you. They know you care. They know you'll chase. They know you'll forgive. And so, they manipulate. But when you go emotionally quiet, when you stop over-explaining, stop reacting, stop needing their validation, that's when things change. You don't have to yell. You don't have to beg. You just shift your energy. FBI agents call it controlled detachment. You're in the room. You're present. But you're not emotionally tangled up. And people can feel that. When you stop chasing truth and start observing it, that's when it finds you. Final word. So here's the deal. If you want the truth, not the sugar-coated version, not the story she thinks you can handle, but the real truth, you gotta stop acting like the guy who needs it. Start acting like the guy who already knows it, and is just watching to see if she has the guts to say it out loud. Let your silence do the talking. Let your eyes do the listening. Let your calm become her panic. And above all, don't be that dude who chases answers from someone who already decided to hide them. You're better than that.